We are watching one of the big games in the Championship. Preston second and looking to close the gap on Cardiff. Leeds United looking to prove that they are resurgent under new manager Dennis Wise, and the two sides coming out onto the pitch. Leeds in their change strip of all yellow and Preston in their traditional white, dark blue shorts, white socks. And it's a Halloween feel tonight, Halloween feel, and I suppose that's why we've got Ghostbusters playing in the background. I noticed one or two of the name changes on the programme this evening. Someone's got a sense of humour in the Preston North End ranks. I'll let Neal have a look at those later, but not sure what to make of that, to be perfectly honest. But if you can pick up a programme, have a scan of it this evening. Preston with just one change, David Nugent coming in. And Nugent and Dichio, Neal, they're obviously very accustomed to playing alongside each other. They probably look the most comfortable of strike partnership that Preston have fielded so far this season, and I suppose it's a boost to have them back playing together after Nugent's suspension.
Yeah, I think we did miss him on Friday night, because obviously Adjiman played and I'm not sure how fully fit he was actually. But Dichio, with his experience and his height, can cause all kinds of problems for the Leeds defence, and with Nugent's intelligent running and play, he can get in and hopefully get us a couple of goals tonight.
As we've seen so far, there's been goals from all over the place in this squad. Adjiman, of course, had that fantastic run of 4 goals in 5 games, and then we've got Dichio, who's now scored 3 in his last 2 home games. Simon Whaley, who leads the scoring chart. David Nugent is up there as well with 3 or so. It's great to have that kind of competition to get to top of the goal scoring chart. I just hope, Neal, they're not pulling away from you. They've got a bit of an advantage here, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I certainly hope to be competing at some stage of the season for the goals, but it's great to see, because that's why we're up there in the league, because everyone's chipping in, and obviously Danny Pugh's got a few important goals for us as well this season, as well as the ones you've mentioned, and that's important for us, because if it was just the strikers, then you become reliant on them, and it's important that other players chip in.
How do you compare yourself? Is there a player in the squad that you compare your style of play to, if you could?
In our squad, no, not really. I mean, I'm the sort of player that, I suppose, like Nugent, just loves going on the pitch and scoring goals, really, as most strikers do. But I do like to get the ball down, and I like to play a little bit, play through balls for somebody like Nugent's pace to run onto, or Ormerod, or something like that, really. So the mixture of the game, really.
Well, about to get proceedings underway here at Deepdale, as you can hear the noise all around us. Many of those Leeds fans have now made it into the ground. We're getting underway 15 minutes later than we should, but the atmosphere is building nicely as if it were kicking off on time. Preston it will be to get the game underway, kicking from right to left. McKenna launches it towards the left flank. It's headed away. Butler, and Preston can pick it up, and it's Simon Whaley, shapes to shoot and then tries to lay it into the centre for Nugent. It's picked up, and on that far side Adam Johnson brings the ball forward, and as you can hear, former Preston player Richard Cresswell dispossessed, to the delight of the home fans. On ball played forward, Butler heads it away, and they'll be busy tonight, the Preston fans, if they're going to boo all the former Preston faces in the Leeds ranks all evening. There's 3 of them. It could be a tiring evening for the average Preston fan. Good foot in, takes the ball away in the centre. Offside flag up on the far side, and that's going to be a free kick to Leeds. Stack launches the ball forward, but the referee will make him retreat back and take it once more from about 10 yards out from the edge of his area. White-orange kit this evening, Graham Stack. There's no missing him. He's got a bit of a pumpkin look to him, with it being Halloween. Nice orange colour. Launches the ball forward, right-footed through the centre towards the left corner. The Preston box is headed high into the air, and not convincingly. Hill is underneath it and manages to nod it away, and Pugh will come away down this left side and launch it forward as Preston finally clear their ranks. Nugent has the ball as a misjudgment in the centre from Westlake gives it in. It's a poor ball forward in the end by Sedgwick. Didn't release either Whaley or Nugent. And down the left hand side, Leeds can come again with a ball that is knocked into touch, but that is going to be the first corner of the game to be swung in from that far side. So plenty of action in the opening few moments. It's a corner kick for Leeds United. Plenty of yellow shirts coming up. The likes of Paul Butler will want to get on the end of this one. The big former Bury and Rochdale centre-back. Certainly good in the air. Shaun Derry will make a run in towards the middle. It's actually taken quickly into Adam Johnson. Ball back at Johnson's feet now as he brings it into the area, poked wide on that far side, and Alexander just uses his nous and lets that ball go out of play. And it's going to go out, of course, for a goal kick to Preston North End. Important, Neal, to make sure that Preston stamp their authority on this game as early as possible, because as we've said, for several reasons, the Leeds players are going to be really fired up for this one.
You know, with the new management, they're eager to impress, and we've won the last 5 home games, so hopefully, you know, with a bright start, you know, get amongst them and try and create a few early chances and put them under pressure, because don't forget, Leeds are struggling in the league. You know, they've only won 1 in I don't know how many games, so they're not full of confidence, even though they have a new manager.
Healy there getting a warm welcome from the Preston fans. It's out wide with Pugh now. He's got Hill on the overlap. McKenna inside him, who he finds. He lays it off to Pugh. Pugh plays it down the line. Hill back into McKenna. Good passing triangles going on from Preston into space for Hill to play it low into the centre. Dichio's coming in, but he won't get there. Played away. And there's Healy again getting that reception from the home fans. Shaun Derry plays it across the back, and Kilgallon plays it forward down that left-hand side. Towin takes it away from Adam Johnson. Ball given away, and Kilgallon can play it forward again. Slightly more direct than we like to see towards that front line, but Preston can pick it up on the right-hand side. Good ball forward from Whaley looking for Nugent, and the ball knocked out of play by Andy Lewis, and that is going to be a Preston throw-in halfway into Leeds territory down the right-hand flank as we look at it. Chipped in towards the centre. It's Dichio who gets that touch on, but no white shirt mopping up behind him, and it's through to the pumpkin-coloured Graham Stack in the Leeds United goal. Plenty of noise coming from the visiting fans, despite their precarious league position at the moment. They obviously feel it's a false position, and full of hope with the appointment of Dennis Wise, although I don't think he was a popular choice with all the Leeds United fans. Certainly a controversial figure. Forward come Preston down the left-hand side with Pugh. Cuts into the centre and barged over by Derry. Referee obliges with a free kick. Pugh looks to take it quickly, but just checks that, and McKenna takes it, plays it down the left-hand side and finds Nugent out wide. He'll look for Dichio here if he can cut in. Does well to get round one. Plays it into the centre. Dichio can't get there. It's nodded away by Kilgallon before he can get there. Alexander comes out right-footed. It's deflected across the edge of the area and out on the far side. Sliding in. And out of play it goes for a goal kick from that resulting slide from Pugh. But bit of possession for Preston coming forward. A bright enough start for them. And now we can hear the home crowd picking up a bit of noise as well. Good to see a reasonably healthy crowd here at Deepdale on this cold Halloween evening, Tuesday night. Not too far for the Leeds fans to travel, even though it probably took them longer than they expected because of that accident. Game delayed this evening by 15 minutes. We are just approaching the 6th minute of the game so far, and it is Preston 0, Leeds 0. No real chances to speak of. Corner for Leeds early on, and some possession for Preston in the Leeds half. It's out wide for the visitors, brought inside and played forward on that left-hand side. Manu takes a dive in the centre. There's more going to ground, but nothing given. And in the end, Preston will have the goal kick. But you can see they're not really playing like a side that are low on confidence. And you can see that they're keen to get forward, aren't they? Yeah,
I think there's a lot of players here playing for the future at the clubs, really. Because when a new manager comes in, every player has to try and impress him and try and prove that he's worthy of keeping his shirt, really. So, you know, we expected that, but you know, we had a good little chance with Nugent's great ball in, and if it wasn't for good defending, Dichio would have had a free header. So, you know, we've had a decent enough start ourselves, really.
Nash it is who launches the ball forward over Nugent's head and not out of play. Hill takes the throw in quickly. On the back line it goes. So Chilvers plays a good diagonal ball out wide, just selling Simon Whaley short a little, although he did get up and win the header. It's going to go out of play on that far side. Preston forcing Leeds back into deep territory in their own half. On that left side, another former Preston face, Eddie Lewis, takes the throw forward. Brought down by Dichio eventually. He lays it off. Not an easy ball for McKenna to deal with, but deal with it he does. And he finds Hill bringing it forward from the halfway line. Man outside him is Pugh. He checks and then plays it to him and gets the ball back in space now. Plays it through the centre. McKenna back to Chilvers, and Preston building patiently from the back. Into Shaun Sedgwick. Back to McKenna, who spreads the ball out wide. Alexander with the ball forward to Whaley. Little pacey for him, but he does well to control. And with 3 yellow shirts around him, he cuts inside and plays it back off to Alexander. And switches play down the left, but that's a little ambitious. Can Pugh get his foot on the end of that and keep it in? He did get a touch. Did it take a deflection off the yellow shirt? No, he didn't. It's going to go out of play for a Leeds throw-in down by the corner flag. And it was a challenge of Pugh on Moore that did that. 3 or 4 yards from that corner flag, away to our left-hand side, and it's going to be a long throw launched down the touchline. There's a good foot in from Sedgwick. Ball cleared away, and a bit of defending to do here for Shaun Sedgwick. Gets it back to Carlo, Nash, and Preston can build again. Down the right they come. Back out comes to Nugent, lays it to Whaley. Whaley lays it off. Sedgwick cuts inside, and he needs support. He does from David Nugent, lays it off. Alexander plays a good ball into the centre, and it's just in between both Nugent and Dichio, and I think Nugent either lost sight of it or just hesitated at the last moment and should have got on the end of that or tried to chest it down. I think he was frustrated that he didn't manage to do so, but a really good chance there, Neal.
Another good ball into the box, and another cross that we put in there, and I think Nugent had just strayed offside, but Dichio was in a great position as well in the middle. One of them to, it was a good opportunity for us to get a shot on target.
So Preston probing from both the left and the right, looking to find a way through this Leeds United defence. Graham Stack plays it forward. Good header away and called into action immediately again by Chilvers. Bit of shoving going on there. Free kick for Preston. It may have been a handball in the end. Free kick to be taken 10 yards, 15 yards or so out from the edge of the Preston area. Still Preston 0, Leeds 0, and this is full match commentary on White's World. Dichio tries to get on that, but it's flipped back to Stack. He can take his time and bring the ball out towards the edge of his area. Dichio just loiters around as if to say, get on with it, pal. Stack will eventually get the ball forward, looking for a yellow shirt. Plays it through the centre, looking for Cresswell. Flip down that left-hand side, and there's Johnson cutting in from the left. Good foot in from Alexander as well. Chips it forward behind Dichio. Nugent going for the ball, but possession falls to Leeds United in the shape of Paul Butler playing that ball forward. Hill heads it forward looking for McKenna. Again peeled for handball, and again handball given against Richard Cresswell. Preston get things underway quickly. St Ledger plays it out wide to Simon Whaley, and then acres of space here. The wide man cuts in, finds Sedgwick with a man out wide if he can find him, and Alexander, and he does. Alexander with Whaley down the line, but will he look to shoot? Cross rather, he finds Whaley who cuts in, brings the ball back. Sedgwick plays it out wide and building again. Preston here, good ball into the centre, and it's missed the defender in the middle and hooked behind for a corner, and Whaley in the meanwhile has taken a knock on the edge of the area, and he's gone down, and he looks to be in some pain, but a bit of confusion at the back for Leeds United there, Neal.
Well, he came from another cross again, good ball in from Alexander on the right there, and just looked like one of their centre halves had slipped, and it was just unfortunate that Nugent or Dichio weren't in the middle there to put it in, but again when the ball bounced up there was a bit of confusion because it could have hit his hand, and he just put it away for a corner for us.
And just a bit of concern for Simon Whaley, is down in a heap just outside the area, getting a little bit of attention. The referee will hold proceedings up until he has got some treatment. He's staying on field for the time being, so it can't be that serious. Back on his feet now, and will probably be made to shuffle off on the far side of the pitch. He is indeed hobbling slightly, but we shall see if he can get back into running ways and getting a bit of weight on that leg. So we've got a knock in the knee region. Going to be a corner swung in with Dichio making a run in towards that front post, I suspect. Loitering on the edge of the area at the moment. Nugent is on keeper stack. Dichio goes towards the far post. It is swung in towards the middle. Can't get to him. Comes back out, headed away, but not very convincingly. And Preston pick up possession with Pugh. Ball played well down the left-hand side. That was a great ball to find McKenna. Cuts in from the right. Plays a little 1-2, gets it back, pokes it on towards the edge of the area. Dichio leaves it and gets the ball back. He lays the ball out wide now. And there's Whaley back in proceedings, playing the ball low in towards the centre. Good pressure this from Preston, and they have the ball back here. And no undue effects felt, I think, on that far side for Whaley. Good ball forward. And still Leeds dilly-dallying at the back, and there's Nugent with a rifled effort just past the corner of the upright and crossbar and behind, but that was Leeds giving the ball away, and Preston almost taking full advantage there. Neal, a great opportunity for Nugent. They're giving time and space, and Leeds, I suppose, are showing a little bit of nervousness at the back.
I mean, you know, we're getting a lot of joy down the right hand side there with Simon Whaley and Alexander. I think Lewis, the ex-Preston player, he's not a recognised left back, and I think if we can get at him tonight, we can have all kinds of joy there. Nugent's had a good effort then, it's just wide, but I think if he gets another chance here, I don't think he'll waste it, that's for sure.
Leeds showing telltale signs of a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde side here. The forward players coming forward with confidence, but the back four still looking a little shaky to my eyes. Probably a lot of work still to do there for Dennis Wise, but let's not take the mockers on proceedings and speak too soon. It remains 0-0. Preston have possession on the far side. Sedgwick tries to touch it into the middle. Preston will pick up the ball here with McKenna playing a good ball out wide. Hill and the overlap on the left, but Pugh will turn and towards the centre. He pokes it forward. Not a great ball, but Preston pick it up again with McKenna. Spraying the play wide on that right-hand side, and Whaley loitering by the touchline picks it up and cuts down that right wing, playing a low ball in towards the front post. The Stack collects low down, but that's again service from the flanks for the likes of Dichio and Nugent and Whaley. Not just a goal scorer, of course, top of the goal scoring charts here, but more often than not the provider as well. Such an integral part in this Preston side after joining from local rivals. I suppose you'd call them rivals, though it's been a long time since they've been in the same standings as Preston Bury. And this left-hand side, Pugh picks up possession, lays it off and finds Chilvers. Right-footed ball, and again it's acres of space for Simon Whaley to exploit. He's got support in the centre from Dichio. Was that a handball? Yes, it was, says the assistant referee on that far side, flagging like fury. It's going to be a free kick right on the edge of the area. Useful position. There's probably not really shooting territory because the angle's a bit acute, but certainly a dangerous position to look for the likes of Danny Dichio, Neal.
I think if we just keep putting this ball in the box, which we are doing, we're certainly going to get to the end of it, and certainly test their keeper out. But I'm pleased with the start we've made and putting plenty of crosses in, which is what we want to see.
So set piece here for Preston to try and exploit. Just over a quarter of an hour gone, 16 minutes to be precise, and Preston look to forge an opening here from a set piece. It is whipped in towards the middle, and really more of a shot than anything in the end. But it's always going to have to be something special to beat Stack from that angle.
Peugeot 307 in blue.
it's going to be a goal kick for Stack. My heart always stops for a second when you hear those announcements made, because I always think it's going to be my car that I'm going to throw in the middle of the commentary.
Please return to your vehicle, thank you.
We have got a goal kick for Leeds, played forward. Bit of a disappointing end to that set piece in the end for Preston. Could have done more, should have done more. Missed it in the end, but they've got a free kick on the other end of the pitch now. Remains 0-0. And plenty of goals in recent Preston outings. I think manager will be happy to start keeping more clean sheets and winning games by 2s and 1s rather than 3-2s and etc. Ball played forward through the centre. Dichio battling for the ball as always at the back against Kilgallon. Two Preston players getting in the way of each other there, and Alexander and McKenna, two experienced players who probably should know better, but Alexander does very well to get that ball back to Nash, who can play it away left-footed, manages to do so. Down this right flank it goes. Bit of defending, Kelly doesn't do particularly well there, and Pugh and Nugent down the left-hand side, can they exploit that? They can, with Nugent cutting in, playing a good right-footed ball. There's Dichio, and there's a great goal for Preston North End. A fantastic ball from the left-hand side from David Nugent, and Dichio nods in his 4th in 3 home games. It's Preston 1, Leeds United 0.
Fantastic play there by Danny Pugh. Great ball to Nugent. Nugent turned Gary Kelly, great ball. And I said if we keep putting the ball in the box, then we're going to get a chance. And Dichio was on the end of that, and in off the post, there was no chance there for, as you've called him tonight, the pumpkin.
Well, certainly a good start for Preston North End this evening. We've seen plenty of balls pumped into the centre on the right-hand side, but this time it was an attack down the left. It was Nugent, the poacher turned provider, who played the ball into the centre. And Danny Dichio, who just can't get enough of scoring at Deepdale nowadays, gets his 4th of the season and goes joint 2nd, I think, in the goal-scoring charts. And that's his 4th in 3 home games, and he is relishing since breaking his duck for Preston, scoring goals in front of his home crowd. Good start for Preston then, and Preston fans are chanting that Leeds are going down. I think it might be a little bit early for that, but Preston with a bit of defending to do in the meanwhile as it's worked into the centre for Shaun Derry. Concentration needed here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Preston have it, and it's down the left-hand side, but Matt Hill to exploit some space, and Hill couldn't quite keep that under control. He nodded it forward, and it just goes out of play. You can hear the Preston crowd have really got the bit between their teeth, and you can kill a game off in the early stages if you can get a couple of early goals, Neal, and this Leeds team perhaps heads will go down given that their poor start to the season. Perhaps they can really capitalise here, Preston.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as we saw on Friday night when we scored against Burnley, it's important to shut up shop for the first 5 minutes after you score a goal, because that's when you're most vulnerable. So hopefully we can do that now and maybe try and get another one.
Ball into the centre, not quite finding Dichio. Knocked away by Kilgallon. He's got his hands full this evening, marking the big Preston centre forward. He's really in form at home. And they've got a possession again on that right-hand side. Preston Leeds, for the meantime, have just retreated deep into their own half and left Cresswell, a lone striker. Healy is up there, but there's 8 men back in the last quarter of the field for Leeds. I don't think there's that many Preston players forward. Preston launching the ball into the centre. Nugent's in there with the header. It's across the face of goal. No real power there. And out for a goal kick, but again a good ball into the centre. Nugent this time, perhaps if there was a bit more power in that cross, and perhaps he could have forced a bit more power towards goal now.
Yeah, I mean, just delighted with how many crosses we're putting in the box, because as a striker that's all you want. If you can put between 10 crosses in each half, then you're going to get rewards, as we did for the goal. So Dichio and Nugent will be absolutely thriving on the crosses we've had so far, because the quality's been really good so far.
So the Graham Stack, dubbed the Pumpkin, launches the ball forward. It's his fantastically coloured kit. It is Halloween after all. Ball down the right-hand side, and look at the pace of Nugent cutting into the centre. He got it on the front post, he's got support in the middle, but it's knocked into the back of the net. and Preston have 2-goal lead here. I think it was Pugh coming through the centre. I was just missed sight at the last moment, but Preston have a 2-goal lead, and it is all too easy for the home side.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, as we said, when you get a goal, the 5 minutes between the goal is so important, and as Leeds have just shown now how vulnerable they are. But what a run from Nugent, absolutely unbelievable pace against Butler, and he's picked his man out, Pugh, waiting for him in the Midland. You know, great finish, and that's 2-0, great start for him.
So Preston build up that early 2-goal lead as we talked about, and it's Pugh who gets, well, he's right up there on the goal scoring charts as well, is Lenny Pugh. That's his third that I make it of the season. And Preston, well, they're after a cricket score at the moment. It's the ball's forward, and Nugent trying to get round the back again, and out comes Graham Stack, who is really having a very hard Halloween so far. Launches that ball away and just wants to get rid of it for the time being, and Preston are relentless coming forward down the left hand side with Pugh again into McKenna. Hill plays it forward. We can't underestimate the part that David Nugent's played in both goals. The first is lightning pace down the left hand side, exposing Gary Kelly and finding a lovely ball into the centre for Danny Dichio. The second, complete reverse down the right hand side he got. This time he was more explosive than before and just left the Leeds back four standing. He worked it into the front post and played it into the centre, and there was Pugh sliding in to knock the ball into the back of the pace. But the difference between Nugent's pace there and the Leeds back four was evident.
Yeah, I mean, he must have been really hurting on Friday night when he missed that local derby, and you know, he's come out absolutely flying so far, and you know, absolutely perfect start. I mean, all that's missing from his game is a goal, but there's no reason why he can't get on the score sheet tonight the way he's playing.
Here he is now, controlling the ball and laying it off with style down that left-hand side. McKenna plays a good ball through the centre. Pugh's running out. Out comes Stack. Pugh gets there first and brings Pugh down. The referee says no free kick. And protestations from Pugh go completely ignored by the referee. And, well, I thought he was hard done by that. I thought he'd got round Stack. It was a clumsy challenge, perhaps not deliberate, but I thought he'd done enough to win himself a free kick, and if he had done, then that would have probably been a professional foul now.
Yeah, I thought it was just inside the box there. I thought the referee was being very generous not to give that. I mean, it was a foul. I mean, anywhere else on the pitch he gives it, but he bottled it, so we're a bit unfortunate there. Preston
running riot now, though. They're back down that right-hand side, a 2-goal lead, and looking for a third. It's played into the centre, cleared away this time by Kilgallon. Preston looking to work it back into the centre. It's back out wide. A right-footed ball in towards the middle, over the head of the expectant Nugent in the middle. This time picked up by two yellow shirts, and Leeds are really all over the show now. They started reasonably confident, but two explosive runs by David Nugent down either flank have really exposed the Yorkshire club. And they are 2 goals to the good, Preston here. Explosive start to this first half. Only 25 minutes in. The lead by 2-0. Strong header by Chilvers. Comes back out. Gary Kelly picks it up on the halfway line. Experienced right back. Plays it forward. He will get that back, no doubt. In fact, he doesn't. Would have been the easy choice, but Moore loses possession and gives away a free kick. And Preston in cruise control. Win possession 10 yards into their own half. So 2-0 up, 25 minutes gone. Well, is it a question of how many they can score? I don't know. Maybe I'm putting commentators' gob on proceedings. Probably end up 2-0 now. I can only apologise if that's the case.
Yeah, such a good response, obviously, from Friday night, and you know, this is what the fans wanted to see, and it's been a great start. So hopefully, if we can keep it tight at the back and add a few more, that'd be great.
Sedgwick lays it off. There's Alexander, plays it low towards the edge of the area. Ball taken off the toe. Nugent and Dichio, and the pumpkin launches it forward as the header away. Preston pick up possession with Alexander on the right side. Ball forward. Is that too far forward for Nugent? Again using his pace to try and expose the Leeds back four. He keeps getting in between the full-backs and the centre-backs, and he's causing a real headache for the visitors. We've got to throw in 10 or 15 yards from that corner flag, and no doubt they'll be looking for Danny Dichio get on the end of this. In fact, it's taken quickly, and Nipping in there is Simon Whaley. He pulls it across the face of goal. Pugh was there. It was a last-ditch clearance from Gary Kelly for Leeds, and they're all over the show at the back. They're just walking through Preston at times, playing so many balls through the centre, and it's just a question of will a white shirt get on the end of it. Picked up by Ian Westlake. He's got a job to do to try and slow things down and try and get Preston forced back into their own half, but they're just picking the ball up so easily and bringing it down the wings. Leeds now with an attack, switching play from right to left. On that far side, trying to get hold of the ball is Johnson. He does get hold of it. He's got support in the centre from Healy and Cresswell, but he pulls it back for Eddie Lewis into the feet of Cresswell. Flag goes up, and Preston have a free kick. Frustrating for the visitors, but very pleasing for the home side so far. Leading by 2-0. And well, free kick for Preston to be launched forward by the more traditionally coloured Carlo Nash, all green. Plays it forward, right-footed. Dichio trying to get underneath it. Home fans are having a carnival at the moment. Headed away. Down the right-hand side it goes. And Whaley twisting and turning, he's got behind his man. He's full of confidence as well. Trying to force the ball back towards goal. And can't call him a pumpkin all evening. Graham Stack knocks it forward. It's a little bit harsh. And there is Pugh putting a boot through the ball, but it's out of play before he made contact, and that's going to be a throw-in to the visitors. So 2-0. Preston lead by. Goals from Dichio, his 4th in 3 home games, and Pugh, his 3rd of the season. And Preston full of goals, it looks like, this evening, certainly full of ideas, and Leeds very troubled at the back. Kelly with a bit of defending to do, very experienced right back, played at international and Premiership levels for a host of seasons, and of course a strong favourite with the Yorkshire club. It's down the left side now with Eddie Lewis, gets the ball back, gets a usual reception from the Preston crowd. It's a regular boos as he plays a little 1-2 with Richard Cresswell. Sedgwick goes up for it, his opposite number Ian Westlake nods it away. There's Lewis again, and the Preston crowd really enjoying this as bundled over on that far side. Simon Whaley takes a tumble, free kick to Preston, and they can launch this ball forward again. Bright start to this delayed kick-off this evening. Kicked off 15 minutes late, but what a treat when it started this game. Preston 2-0 up, and looking to increase that. Stack will bring it away and be happy to have a bit of a breather, I think, and take his time knocking that ball forward. Good, strong header at the back, and Preston come away again with McKenna playing it down the right-hand side. There's Simon Whaley, got support from Dichio in the middle. Nugent plays a run into the centre. That ball through the centre takes a wicked deflection high into the air, and Leeds will get that ball away. It's Healy playing it forward to Cresswell. Foot in from Alexander on the far side. Takes the ball away. It was so much in the end. Through the middle, Leeds come with Shaun Derry playing it down the right-hand side for Gary Kelly. Plenty of support for him down this right-hand side. He chooses to go the way of Ian Moore, tries to knock the ball on, straight through to Carlo Nash. Just a bit ineffective at the moment, this Leeds attack, lacking in ideas a little, perhaps more accustomed to playing in a more central role up front, and they're just looking a bit piecemeal in their attacks now.
I mean, that's always the good news for us, but I mean, we've come out absolutely fine. All the players are buzzing.
I've just interrupted. David Nugent tries a long shot from just outside the area, and it's just over the crossbar, but as you were saying, Neal, it's a bit stop-start from the visitors.
Yeah, I mean, Nugent there having another good effort. I mean, him as well as all the players will come out buzzing after the defeat on Friday night, and we've made Leeds look an ordinary side, and they've got a lot of good players out there, and Wise would have got them fired up, but so far we've not seen anything, and hopefully we can keep it that way.
Leeds fans still in good voice away to our left. It took them about 2 hours longer than they thought to get here. It's not the warmest of weather. They're 2-0 down, in a very poor position in the Championship, and they're making the most noise in the ground. Something's not right there. Perhaps they've been at a bit of Halloween punch, I don't know. Down the right-hand side it goes. Leeds coming forward, low right-footed ball into the centre, charged down by Hill. And that is going to be a throw into Leeds. Healy leaves it for Kelly to take. And we're going to try and launch this into the Preston area. Kelly takes that deep throw in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Away towards the edge of the area, and there's McKenna putting his foot through the ball. Nugent is away down the left-hand side. Can he keep it in? He's done very well to do that, but the assistant referee's flag is up, and we're brought back for a throw-in. Preston 2, Leeds 0. Dichio opening the scoring, and then Pugh with the second. Good start to this game for Preston. Bobbling around on the edge of their area at the moment. 32 minutes in here, and cleared away for throw into Leeds United. Eddie Lewis will be the man to take. And Preston lacking in Leeds rather lacking in ideas coming forward, and lacking in ideas from that throw as well. Bundled over on the far side, Eddie Lewis, but doesn't win a free kick. That's going to be a throw into the home side, much to the bemusement of the Preston crowd. Towards the halfway line we go. Flicked on by Dichio, always winning the ball in the air, whether it's up front or indeed for set pieces when he's called for at the back. I made that point in the game against Sunderland where he scored a brace, played so well. It wasn't just his attacking performance, his defensive performance was excellent as well. Every corner, free kick, he seemed to be there, getting on the end of the ball. Now Leeds have the ball here. Down the right-hand side it comes with Cresswell onto his left foot, right foot is it? Lines up a shot and then lays it off. Played into the centre. Again, a few ideas lacking for Leeds, although they had some good territorial possession. On this right it comes with Kelly switching play to his opposite fullback Lewis. And that was a poor ball forward. Cresswell couldn't get there, and through it went to Preston back four. Well, it's pretty comfortable at the moment for the home side. Leeds having a little bit of an attack, but a little bit of possession, as you'd expect them to try and rally after conceding 2 goals, but ineffectual so far. Not really having any outlets on this right-hand side with Moore, who looks a little bit lost for ideas. On the left they've got Lewis and Johnson, who can provide some width. Preston at the moment asking all the questions when they do get the ball, and they look like they're just going to break away at any moment. Out of play it goes for a throw-in, but at the moment that seems to be the difference between the two sides, Neal, that you think that Preston could lash out down either flank at any moment, but Leeds look really short of ideas.
Yeah, you know, it was important after we scored the first goal to get Leeds again with the second goal while they were down, and we've done that and just kind of killed the game for the time being, which is great news. You know.
Good ball forward from Pugh. Skipping in at the back is Nugent. Can he force a cross into the centre? Twisting and turning, trying to work it into the middle. Lays it off. It's a good ball for Sedgwick. He can't line up a shot. McKenna gets it. But he lashes his shot just wide from distance, and it's harmlessly behind for a goal kick. But again, good possession for Preston in and around the area, and forcing a shot as well, which is something that the visitors aren't doing at the moment. They're umming and ahhing, and their final ball's being poor, and they're not really creating chances, whereas Preston, they do get the ball, they're ending up with a shot more often than not, or a good ball into the centre at least. Stack is going to take this goal kick into the final 15 minutes of, in fact into the final 10 minutes of this first half. Slightly delayed because of traffic issues. 9 minutes from half time, with Preston leading by 2-0, which is a good reflection of the difference between the two sides so far. Nugent tries to play the ball out wide. I think he got a knock as he tried to play that wide. In fact, it was the knock that made connection with the ball, and Preston will have the throw in. Coming up towards the halfway line, out of the pavilion end. It's launched down the line low. Toe in from Butler, Gets it away from Nugent. Dichio won't take the throw because he'll be the target of the throw, I would think. Down the line he goes, and the ball follows him. He tries to flick it on, it deflects off his back, but he manages to get hold of the ball somehow anyway. Uses his strength, finds Nugent on the edge of the area. Nugent just did a little bit too much, turned into trouble, and there was Shaun Derry to take the ball off his toe. Picked up by Hill, finds McKenna, and a switch play out wide again with Whaley cutting in towards the middle. He's got Nugent outside, and Whaley tries a long-range effort. It skips wide of the goal once more, but another good chance for Preston, and they've all got the target in front of them at the moment. They want to make sure they don't squander good opportunities for the sake of them, and do make sure they try and get shots on target. Perhaps set up a player if they can do, rather than shooting from distance all the time. But it's good to see that they're all keen and confident enough to buy a lottery ticket when they can do.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we've got the confidence to have a go, and we're certainly trying to test out the pumpkin tonight, but they've not had a go at Carlo tonight, which is good to see, and hopefully we can hit the target a few more times and test them out really.
On that right hand side, Preston clear it away, and they grab a third before half time. That really would kill off proceedings surely this evening. Throw for Leeds. Through comes Sedgwick, takes the ball into the stand, and then eventually will be a throw into Leeds when we get the ball back. It reappears now pitch side. The game has just stagnated, but certainly quietened down since that second goal, understandably so. Preston will be very happy with a 2-goal lead at half time. Leeds will be looking to try and grasp something back in the latter stages of this half, and Preston win a goal kick. Nice bit of defending on that far side from St Ledger, just shepherding his man to the ground, and the ball out of play, but confident stuff from the Preston back four. We've got to admire the visiting fans, who are still in good voice despite their club's predicament, both this evening and in general. Fireworks exploding above the pavilion end on the far side of this pitch on Halloween, of course. It's not been an entire horror show for Leeds just yet, but we shall see by the end of the evening if any more goals are put past the pumpkin away to our left hand side. And all orange this evening, Graham Stack for the visitors. There's McKenna out to Hill, back to McKenna, switches play out wide. Great stuff this from Preston, so confident on the ball, laid off, pulled back right footed in the centre. Can Nugent get on the end of it? He pulls it back. There's Sedgwick with a low effort, saved by Stack, but does it fall to Dichio? It does. Can he pull it back into the centre? Stack is stranded, the ball back into the middle, but it's going to go behind for a corner. But really, Preston lining up to try and turn that ball behind, and agonisingly Dichio just couldn't quite turn it back into the centre. Neal.
A good effort there from the edge of the box. I just thought Deeks was just going to knock it in, but Stack's done really well to get back. But again, good pressure from us, and we've got a corner and more pressure.
Can they force a third goal before half time? Ball to be swung in on that far side. In comes St Ledger. It is towards the back post and bundled away. Leeds can breathe again. So foot comes in from Chilvers, and it's not behind for a goal kick in the end. But again, nice bit of pressure from Preston. And at one point, Stack was completely stranded on the floor. Dichio stood over him, just looking for options, trying to work it into the centre. I think he was perhaps wrong-footed and couldn't quite work it into the middle. Didn't fall quite right for Preston, but a good long-range effort that stranded Stacks. He did make that first save and parried it out right to the boot of the oncoming Dichio. Preston could not quite make the most of that opportunity. Still time enough to work up a 3-goal lead if they can before half-time. That really would put their mark on proceedings at half-time. 2-0 up though. It's pretty confident at the moment. They're looking for another down this left now, with Hill coming forward. Knocks it past his man, takes a tumble. Nugent wanted play to go on. Referee is going to pull back more for that late challenge. Hill is down and looks to be in a little pain. Perhaps that's just for effect, but he is back up onto his feet now, and it looks like Moore is going to go into the boot for that late challenge. Hill was round him. I thought there was a case for playing the advantage there, Neal.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a late tackle there from more than, good one from Healy, but there was about 3 or 4 players around Nugent, so we'll set up for the free kick and a booking there.
McKenna, the man stood over it. Moore, as you heard, did go into the bug. McKenna will work it into something. Perhaps that's a sign of frustration on Ian Moore, playing slightly out of position on this right side of midfield rather than up front. It's a diagonal ball into the centre, headed down, but it's behind Dichio. A foot in from Shaun. Derry takes it away just as Nugent, loitering around, was coming in. It's going to be a throw in for Preston eventually. Hill comes forward to take. Nugent in on the front post. It was Pugh rather that was loitering with intent on this left flank. And Hill takes the throw into McKenna, who strips the ball to Hill. Hill is pulled back again on that far side, and is that Moore again? He's going to have to be careful here, Moore, pulling back Hill again as he got the best of him. And the referee, is he going to dismiss him, or is he just going to have a word here, because he's just got into the book and he really pulled back Hill there. And in any normal circumstance, if he hadn't just got into the book, he would have got into the book for that challenge.
Healy put a cross in, so I mean, very fortunate there, especially so soon after his booking, so got himself lucky there.
There was a bit of stupidity from Moore, the visitors pulling back. Hill to the ground, free kick taken low in towards the centre. Arriving was Liam Chilvers on the front post and Dichio on the far post. Just couldn't turn it towards goal, but it is behind for a corner, and Preston really are looking for a third before half time. Chilvers will get a second bite to the chair as he runs in. Dichio is in there, it's over him and towards. Chilvers arriving, headed behind again, and another corner for Preston. Pressure building here. Will Leeds cave into that pressure? McKenna, the man who will deliver the ball into the centre once more. Dichio loitering, is back to goal at the moment, and he's just making some kind of communication with Chilvers as to which way to go. It's a deep one. Chilvers takes a tumble on that far side. It is headed, but I think behind again once more, this time by Cresswell, and that's going to be a corner on the other side. That's 3 quarters in quick succession with under a minute left to go before half time, and Preston turning the screw, 2-0 up, looking for a third. Completely dominant at the moment. Dennis Wise's side all at sea here at Deepdale. Left-footed low ball in towards the centre, and it is bundled behind again. Appeals for handball, not given. I think it was Eddie Lewis who knocked it behind. Difficult to judge from the angle that we're sat at, but another corner for Preston, 4 in succession. 2 on the left, 2 on the right as we look at it. Practice this as the ball knocks into the centre again, headed down the middle. That's a good save by Stack low down. Preston still with the ball, works into the centre from Chilvers, comes back out. Will Sedgwick try his luck? He can't get the ball to sit kindly for him. Nugent can't get hold of it, and it is cleared away. Healy will run over to try and get hold of the ball, but Preston pick it up for Zen. We're going to have 2 minutes of time added on for stoppages, as you can hear from the announcer behind me. It's headed forward, and Leeds really struggling to deal with Preston when they get hold of the ball. And again, they win possession, and appeals for a free kick not given, and Preston can come away with it. Dichio laying it off. Ball forward, looking for that good run of McKenna, who started to play in the first place. It's cleared away just over the head of Simon Whaley, who with a couple of extra inches of height might have got on the end of that one, but it was just above him, and I think it may have taken a touch, and that's why there's going to be a throw in on the far side to Leeds. We have played just under 1 minute of time added on for stoppages. It's been a good, confident performance by the home side so far. Leeds haven't been in it. Stack plays the ball forward. Heads go up in the middle. Ball over the top. Butler nods it away, but scant respite as Preston come forward again. That's not a great ball from Alexander over the head of Dichio and everybody else on the field. Straight through to Graham Stack, who's really had his work cut out in this first half, produced 2 or 3 good saves, as well as having to pick the ball out of the back of the net twice. Preston completely dominant, no chances for the visiting side, and now they've won a free kick just outside the area. Everything going Preston's way so far, and Leeds lucky really to have 11 men on the field after Ian Moore picked up a booking, and then just a few moments later holding back Matt Hill down the left hand side, the player he'd already fouled for his first yellow card. He was lucky to stay on the field in my eyes because it really was a second bookable offence, but the referee thought otherwise. I think perhaps if Leeds hadn't been 2-0 down, and there might have been a difference there, but more just stay of execution, and the ball is headed back towards the halfway line. Chilvers battling well, plays the ball down the left-hand side. Good work from the big, strong Preston centre-back. Good ball forward, and Nugent with his explosive pace again picks up on the ball, giving Gary Kelly a really tough time down this left flank. He tries to work it into the centre. It's broken kindly for him after the cross. Ball over to the middle, and it was just too strong for Dichio, who head in hands could see a gaping goal mouth in front of him. Instead, it was just too high for him, but again, just showing what skill Nugent's got on the ball and determination there to finally get it past Kelly, and he's really opening up Leeds at times, Neal.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on either flank, and his crosses have been top draw, and he's shown other parts of his game, not just his goals, creating 2 goals for us today. What a great asset he is to us.
Stack plays it away, and that is half-time here at Deepdale. A real confident performance from the home side. He took the lead through a Danny Dichio header as early as 17th minute. Ball played into the centre, and there from David Nugent's run, we should say, the ball into the middle, and there was Dichio to knock the ball in, courtesy of the post. 5 minutes later, they were 2-0 to the good. Again, Nugent involved, this time explosive pace down the right-hand side. His ball into the centre, found Pugh sliding in to knock the ball into the back of the net. They could have had more, 2 or 3 good saves produced from Graham Stack in the Leeds goal. Nicknamed the Pumpkin this evening, and well, so far, although it is Halloween, it hasn't been much fun for him. He's picked the ball out the back of the net twice, and it could have been much more for the home side. A real difference between these two sides. So, about to get back underway, with Preston kicking from left to right as we look at it. Leading by those 2 goals to nil, Dichio and Pugh. It's out to their tallies for the season, respectively. Dichio with 4 in the last 3 home games. He is loving playing here at the moment after breaking his dub for the club. Graham Stack with the ball, plays a low ball, flipped down the left-hand side, but picked up by Whaley. Preston can come away with Nugent turning, showing some skills, almost playing it through to Simon Whaley. Goes out of play on this near touchline. As Adam Johnson tries to keep it in, but can't. And it's knocked into touch by Gray, and that is going to be throw in for Preston. Crucial the first 15 minutes or so of this second half, but Preston don't sit back and they continue to turn the screw in this game, put the pressure on the visitors, try and grab a 3rd goal. Certainly don't give Leeds a way back into this game. They've been confident enough in the first half, and I don't want to put the mockers on proceedings, but they haven't really looked like gifting anything to the visitors, and it would have to take something, I think, catastrophic, because Leeds have been lacking in ideas. No real shake-up of the formation as I can see from the visitors in the second half. I thought myself they might take more off and change it around a little bit, but Preston come away down the right-hand side in the meanwhile as Alexander plays a great ball through the legs of the Leeds defender in towards the centre from Whaley, and turned into the back of the net by that man David Nugent, who is on fire. He's set up 2 and now he's converted the 3rd, and that's what we were talking about. A great start to the second half. Preston lead by 3 goals to nil, and that was just what Preston wanted, Neal.
As we said at half-time, we were talking about Nugent's involvement in both goals. We said that he deserved the goal, and I didn't think he'd score it as early as that, but absolutely brilliant work again from side down the right, and just great ball across, and he just touched it in the right place at the right time, as all good strikers do. And what a great start, absolutely delighted. I thought Leeds would make a change at half-time because they were absolutely awful, but you know what, they've started it just the way they finished, poor, so great start, that's what we wanted. I
think it was Graham Alexander who just threaded a lovely ball through the legs of the Leeds United defender. What a superb nutmeg that was, and it sent his man on his way, and well, Nugent finished it off on the far post. A lovely flowing move from Preston, and well, that's probably finished the game off, to be honest. They can go into cruise control if they weren't already in it, and perhaps win this by a very comfortable margin indeed. They have it down the right hand side with Whaley, and they look they're showing no signs of letting up in the pressure and hunger for more goals. Nugent plays it into Dichio, back to Whaley. The three attacking players for Preston linking up while Dichio holds it up, using his strength. We've seen the attributes of the big Preston striker on full force there. Ball knocked out of play. And Nugent will take the throw. I know he was coming in at that far post. I'm not sure whether a yellow shirt got a touch at it with that goal, but he'll certainly claim it anyway. But there's a good ball through for Whaley to pick up, the man who set up that goal with a run in towards the front post and pulling it back across the face. And now he's won a corner for Preston, and they're really piling on the pressure in this second half. Leeds showing very little resistance, and there's just one side in this game. It's complete domination for the home side. And well, you can hear the Preston fans are enjoying the fact that David Healy's not having a particularly good game or enjoyable return to Deepdale, and we're going to see two immediate substitutions by Dennis Wise, the Leeds manager, looking across to see who's going off. And it's first of all Adam Johnson who's going off, and Preston fans are chanting for a sacking of Dennis Wise. He's shouting Wise out, and I think perhaps one or two Leeds fans will probably be thinking something along the same lines if the goals continue to fly in. Johnson has gone off. The other man going off is Ian Moore. So both wide men.
First replacing number 12 Adam Johnson is number 28 Robbie Blake.
So we'll see Blake come on in probably a forward role. Scored against Southend, of course, in their last game. Jeff Horsfield comes on, so it's really four attacking players they've got now on the pitch. It'll be interesting to see what formation that Leeds use, but to my eyes, that's four strikers on the pitch for Leeds.
Yeah, I mean, that's only going to benefit us because that'll give us more space to just to run and cause more problems for their defenders again.
Saying that, they're coming forward now, although Chilvers can get a foot in, and Neal Mellor has demolished a packet of sweets in the opening minutes of this first half. It's very impressive, isn't it?
Just thought I'd carry on how the lads are performing on the pitch off it.
And they've got possession of the ball again now. And brought down on the far side is Pugh. Free kick to Preston. And I think they're actually going to line up at least 4-3-3. It looks like a 4-2-4 formation almost. And you can hear the Preston fans revelling in the fact that they lead by 3-0 and pushing for more. And this Leeds formation rather is it's a strange one at the moment, as that ball is played down the right-hand side. Alexander trying to get a foot in. It's not behind. That's going to be a free kick. I think the assistant referee was in two minds, almost gave the corner and then changed it and said that there was a bit of a shove on Eddie Lewis. Two substitutions then. On comes Blake and Horsfield, both strikers, and off go Adam Johnson and Ian Moore. It looks like they're playing 4-3-3. We'll confirm that in a few moments' time when we see if Leeds can settle into a pattern here. But climbing at the front is Horsfield. It looks like he's assumed a position up front. Perhaps Blake will slot into the midfield slightly. In the meantime, Preston have a free kick. It does look as though Blake is playing in midfield almost, perhaps behind the front three. Is it 4-2-1-3 almost here that Leeds are playing, with Derry and Westlake sitting off Blake, holding in midfield, but there's no real width in that side. It's an odd formation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're struggling at the moment, 3-0 defeat, and you know, I'm surprised with that formation because it's just going to play into our hands and give us more options going forward and plenty of space to exploit. And you know, we're very adventurous, but we should have done that at half time before we got the third. So
they've gone very narrow at the same time, and you can only think that they're really going to try and launch the ball forward, looking for the likes of Horsfield, which that's going to play into Preston's hand as well, because Chilvers and St Ledger will eat that up all day long, I would expect. The ball played down that right-hand side, foot in, Hill plays it forward, and Preston coming away with it again. Trying to run that offside line was Nugent, but he had just strayed offside when the ball was played forward by Dichio. Free kick for the Pumpkin to take. And a great atmosphere resounding around Deepdale this evening. This 3-goal lead. And Just a bit of lack of communication at the back for Preston as the ball is knocked into the centre. Hill's there, heading it away, and there's McKenna trying to get a challenge in, knocks the ball forward. No white shirt there as Preston back defending for the moment. Nugent comes across to charge down his man. Butler will knock it back to Stagg under pressure, plays it away. It is that direct approach being adopted by Leeds, although now they have it on the floor, winning possession. Kelly plays it through the centre. Cresswell tries to pull it back. Good foot in, takes it away from him, but Leeds still have possession on the edge of the Preston box. Twisting and turning, a good foot in, and Preston can come away with it. Just charged down and knocked out of play on that far side. There is a man down in the middle. I think it's Sedgwick or Alexander. I can't quite tell from the number on his back. Referee has just stood in front at the moment. Alexander's stood up alongside him, so could well be Sedgwick. Will he take a knock? I don't know. So can't quite make it out. It looks, whichever play it is, looks to be in some discomfort. Down in the centre, just outside the 6-yard box. He's sat up, but not back on his feet yet. I didn't see much untoward going on there. But he has now resumed his feet and will no doubt have to go into touch. Behind the goal, away to our left-hand side. 3-0, Preston lead. Goals for Dichio, Pugh and Nugent. Nugent, who's really been the key ingredient for Preston this evening, has shown a real hunger, set up the first two, scored the third, the man of the moment for Preston this evening. We're listening to full match commentary on White's World, myself, Matt Hardman, and Neal Mellor here to bring you all the action. Down the left-hand side, Dichio plays a high ball into the Halloween evening, and it's picked up in the centre by Westlake, who pokes it forward. Ball attempted to find Cresswell down the right-hand side, and Preston pick it up with Whaley. Immediately, 2 yellow shirts running over to try and stifle the attack. Nugent gets a foot in and tries to turn, and it's back through to Graham Stack in the Leeds goal. Down the right, he opts for Gary Kelly coming forward. He's got no support really down the flank. He'll try and play it in towards the area, and that's where St Ledger will come across. Headed forward, and Nugent having a bit of running around, and Preston just coming to terms with this new Leeds formation at the moment. They're not quite getting as much of the ball as they were, and I think that's because Derry and Westlake are hurrying play up a little. But if they can get the ball wide, that's where they'll have joy, because there's very little width in this Leeds team now. They're switching from 4-2-1-3, I suppose, to 4-3-3 to 4-2-4 in search of a probing effort to get behind this Preston defence. Cresswell tries to do just that. It's lovely defending at the back from St Ledger, and the ball goes out of play for a throw-in, which Eddie Lewis will take. Leeds getting a bit more possession now. It's brought in by Blake across the edge of the area. There is a right-footed effort which Nash has to save fairly comfortably. Shaun Derry with the long-range effort, and I think you'll hear the ironic jeers around Deepdale. That is the first shot on target for the visitors, really. Carlo Nash getting a bit of a hand warmer, and well, we are considerable way into the second half, just over 10 minutes, and first shot of the game on target for the visitors. That's a pleasing statistic for Preston. Now Nugent battling, wins the ball on the edge of the area, twisting and turning. He's got support outside him on the left. Has he gone too far? Yes, he has. Dispossessed in the end by Ian Westlake. He plays it outside him and gets the ball back on the edge of his area. They're not bringing it away too quickly, Leeds, for a team that are trailing by 3-0. It's played down the left by Shaun Derry, picked up by Cresswell, who gets a raucous welcome from the Preston crowd every time he picks up the ball. Down the right-hand side, Leeds coming forward again. Chip ball into the centre. Carlo Nash collects it for his second touch of the game, I think I make that. And Preston just waiting for the chance to explode and bring the ball away, and here they have it now down the right-hand side with Simon Whaley. 4 men forward. good curling ball towards that far side, nodded back into the centre. Dichio is there, he controls, turns with his right foot, it falls to Sedgwick. He can't quite control it, slides in for the ball but won't get there. And Stack claims that the ball just wouldn't quite sit for Sedgwick as it fell to his feet, and that was a really good shooting and scoring opportunity for Preston to get their fourth, Neal.
Yeah, I mean, great ball back in from Nugent there, and Dichio, great turn, and I thought it was a good block in the end from Kilgallon, and fell to Sedgwick, but just a bit quick for him to take it into control. But again, you know, we're creating chances, which is good.
Ball out on that far side. Leeds can bring it away if they want through the centre. They've got options with at least 3 strikers on the pitch. 4, I would argue. I'm entirely sure of the formation they're using. I don't think they are, to be perfectly honest. Down the right hand side they come. In possession again. And they are getting a bit more of the ball, and Preston just have to be careful here not to sit back and let them build and put pressure on them. They not look like threatening too often, but can't give a side with quality players like Leeds too much time on the ball. Preston happy to sit back and hit on the break, actually, as Whaley comes forward down the right hand side. He's got options in the centre if he can find them. 2 men on him trying to dispossess, making a nuisance of himself. He wins a throw in down by the corner flag. Dichio and Nugent waiting patiently in the centre, and it's going to be a throw in which Alexander will launch into the centre. Does he take it quickly? Yes, he does. It's a short one which he gets back. It's laid into space for Sedgwick to try and turn towards Whaley. Takes a deflection off Shaun Derry and goes behind for a corner. And Preston can look for a fourth here. That would, I think, be the final blow for Leeds. At that point, they would probably give up the ghost. And they are still trying to get hold of the ball and force it into Preston territory, but with little success so far. Corner taken quickly. Sedgwick works it in right-footed towards the centre. Dichio's there, leaning back though. The ball always going to climb above the crossbar, but showing that he can get on the ball with his boot as well as his head. The big Preston striker. Behind it goes for a corner. And again, the Preston crowd in good voice. 3 goals to 0 they trail. Results elsewhere not exactly going their way, as we heard that Cardiff were winning at half-time. But all they can do is win their own games and worry about what everybody else is done after the match, I suppose. Ball is not out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in as the chance of Wise out echo around the Deepdale Stadium once again, but from the home crowd. It's obviously only his 2nd game in charge. Ball forward with Nugent chasing after it. There's Stack, who only just managed to keep it away from the Preston striker. It is cleared away, headed forward again between Dichio and Nugent, but it comes back out to McKenna. Plays it wide to Whaley. Whaley plays a ball through the middle and then was brought down behind by Cresswell with a late challenge. Whaley is down, appeals for a sending off for the home crowd, and Cresswell will surely go into the book here. And it's whether the referee judges it to be a very cynical challenge indeed, or just a clumsy late one. And it looks as though he is going to produce a card. Cresswell's going to get a telling off, and he wasn't exactly a favourite with the home crowd anyway. And it looks as though he's going to be the 2nd man to go in the book after Moore. Yes, he does get a yellow card, but that was a really clumsy challenge now.
Yeah, I mean, he deserved his booking there. Just frustration from him, and you know, that's what we want. We want all their players to be frustrated so we can play and show off, which we are doing.
Free kick for Preston to take, just inside Leeds territory. It's down the right-hand side, and there's Whaley turning inside. Whaley with the ball low. He tries a shot which was charged down. It comes back out. Sedgwick tries to bundle his way into the area. Returns, has support, but just pulls it back behind the advancing Alexander, who leaves a foot in and gives away a free kick. And now Leeds can come away through the centre on the break here. Picked up by Pugh, who in turn gives it to Alexander, although I don't think he had much choice in the matter. Back to Hill it goes, and Hill knocks it back to Carlo Nash, and he can start the process forward again by launching it forward, although it's beyond any white shirt. And again, we saw Preston an attacking mood there, not happy to sit back with this 3-0 lead. In such fantastic form that they've shown at home so far this season, Neal? I mean, is there any one thing you can put it down to? You were saying at half-time there's a real buzz around the training ground and the changing room at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I've been here, I mean, that was the first defeat I've seen since I've been here on Friday night, and there's been a buzz around the changing room. Everyone's really flying, and I think that's because of the home form. All the fans have got behind us here, and you know, we've repaid them with some great performances, and you know, hopefully that can get us into the playoffs, because you need a good home form, certainly to be up there challenging, which is what we want this season again.
Leeds down the right-hand side, 3 yellow shirts in the centre, a 4th joins them in Blake. Down towards the corner flag, nice bit of defending by Hill, and it's out of play for a throw-in, which Leeds will look to try and work into the area. Option of a short one is there, and it's taken, laid off, and chipped ball in towards the middle. St Ledger down in a heap in the middle, but nothing untoward going on, as Alexander comes away with a low ball forward looking for Nugent. It's knocked into touch, and Kilgallon perhaps has been one of the better players for the visitors this evening. The ball knocked high into the stand, and I was going to stick my head on that actually, but I thought better of it. Throw in down this right side, which Alexander takes into the feet. Simon Whaley gets it back, chip ball forward, racing after it is Sedgwick. He won't keep that in play, and it goes out behind the Leeds United goal. Preston lead by 3-0. Nugent sets up the first 2 for Dichio and for Pugh, and then grabs the third himself after Whaley made a good run down the right-hand side. I think the ball through was from Alexander, which when you see the replay you'll see there's a lovely nutmeg involved in that build-up, which the Leeds player will not want to remember. And then Whaley latching onto it, running in towards the front post, ball across the middle, which has proved so dangerous this evening, with all 3 goals coming from cross balls into the centre. This time it was a low one from the front post and towards the far post, where Nugent was arriving to knock it into the back of the goal. Dichio heads it back, there's McKenna to Simon Whaley, bursting with pace down this right-hand side, knocks it into the centre. Nugent lays it off, gets it back. Is he lining up a shot? He's feeding Pugh on that far side, plays it across the face of goal. It's not really a shot that was going to trouble Graham Stack. In the end it turned into a reasonable ball across the face of the goal mouth, and just too far in front of Danny Dichio now.
Great move again, about 6 or 7 passes, and great ball in the end from Pugh, but there's no one in the middle there to put it in, but just great play again. Frustrating
is it watching this rather than partaking in it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to play, you know, with someone like Sai in the team. He's a out and out right winger who just attacks full-backs and gets the ball in the boxes. Lads thrive on that.
Nugent coming away down the left-hand side again. That lightning pace is creating chances for Preston. Has he done enough to keep it in? He puts it across the centre, and Slack got a touch to it, and it goes out on this far side. Dichio was in the middle, but again Nugent exposing so much space coming forward, and his pace is really showing up Leeds. That time he just took the ball on too far, he kept it in, just couldn't create a chance for Dichio. Leeds now with Blake. He gets the ball back, it's played out wide, and he'll run back in towards the centre. Horsfield's there, checks his run and goes towards the far post. The cross is charged down by Hill, and a second time, and a third time it's played into the middle, comes back to Hill, and Hill can bring the ball away. He's brought down in a cynical fashion on that far side, and I think that's going to be the third booking of the night. I'm looking over to see which Leeds player it is that's involved on that far side. I think it's Healy, and for obvious reasons the Preston fans are calling for his head as well. Hill, who's been brought down on a number of occasions, somewhat cynically by the Leeds team.
Just out of skill, and Healy just kicks out, and it was a definite booking. A couple of kicks there, Healy, to then be a bit short tomorrow.
Well, they're getting a bit naughty at times. Healy's gone into the book. It's the third Leeds player to be carded, and they've certainly got the Dennis Wise temperament at times, but not that competitive spirit enough to get hold of the ball. Preston fans taunting one of their former favourites. I'll say that very quietly, just in case one of the fans around me hears me. David Healy, not entirely popular around these parts anymore. Ball played down this right side. Up goes Simon Whaley. Couldn't quite get on the end of it, the diminutive right midfielder. Kept in play by Derry for the visitors. Whaley gets the ball back. He pulls it back. And Preston can build again with Sedgwick playing it through the centre. David Nugent takes a tumble. Over the halfway line comes Gary Kelly. Lays it off. Kelly into the centre. He's looking for a yellow shirt up front, and they're keeping possession. A few ironical jeers from Preston fans with each pass that Leeds can string together. They lead by 3-0 here, Preston. And we are into the final quarter of the game. 68 minutes gone. Preston 3, Leeds 0. Comfortable performance so far from Paul Simpson's side. And David Nugent, for me, so far leading the charge for Preston and the hunt for that man of the match award. Down the right-hand side it goes. Out of play it goes, and that is throwing 2 Leeds. Good foot in from McKenna, reading the situation well, and he's played a lovely ball with the outside of his boot to find Nugent running forward. He's been taken wide, and he'll have to hold the ball up now, but he has support behind him from Alexander, who he can find. Alexander with Dichio in the centre, looks for Dichio, couldn't quite find him. Butler's header takes it away, but it comes back out to Whaley with support from Nugent on the right-hand side. It is eventually given to him by Alexander. Nugent looking for Dichio, it's a bit low and headed out from the middle. Whaley misses the ball, and Cresswell can get it down and back to Graham Stack. Plays it away right-footed. There's Hill climbing to head the ball away, and he's been impeded as well. That is a free kick to Preston, but every time they get the ball, Preston, they look like trying to force a chance on goal. That's the difference between the two sides. Leeds could have possession all night long, and they don't really look like forcing chances on the Preston goal. Nash to take this free kick. Halfway, or slightly less, into his own half. Nugent's come on this right flank, and perhaps that's where Nash will launch it. In fact, he opts for the central route, looking for Dichio, who can head it down in towards Nugent, and will that be shepherded out of play? No, it's not. It's cleared away, but not entirely convincingly, because there's Whaley picking it up. He finds Nugent. His ball back was poor, and characteristically for the England under-21 striker, into the feet of Sedgwick. Lays it off. Preston build again down this right side. McKenna with Nugent, hand on hips, in front of him, into Dichio. Dichio plays it out wide to Hill. Hill finds Pugh. Lovely passing build-up play by Preston, bringing cheers from the home crowd. Pugh bursting forward, trying his hand at taking on players. It falls to Whaley. Will he shoot? No, he won't. He lays it off, but that's what we call a hospital ball, and McKenna is caught short, and Leeds pick up possession and laid out wide by Shaun Derry on that right-hand side. And Pugh, final ball was just a little lacking, and he could have done more with the position that he was in. Now Leeds have it down the right with plenty of yellow shirts up here. It's a cross ball into the centre, and Nash, who's been called into action only sparingly in this game, collects it comfortably in the centre of his area, and he will hoof this ball away right-footed, high into the night air. There's Dichio trying the flick on. Kelly plays it wide, has support into the centre with Shaun Derry. Leeds at least getting a bit more of the ball, but not really doing much with it when they get it. Turn in the centre from Blake, who's found Cresswell. Plays it outside him as Horsfield lays it out wide, and there's a good ball into the centre, looking for the run of Cresswell, involved in the build-up and trying to get on the finishing play. But that was one of the first real attacking passing moves that we've seen from Leeds this evening, stringing one or two passes together. Of course, they won their first game with Wise in charge against Southend, but it's been a very different prospect for them against a very difficult team in Preston North End at home. On the edge of the area, Leeds trying to break Preston down still. To give them credit for that. It's headed away from the middle of the area. Cross comes Westlake, looking for the ball back, but it finds Hill. Preston attempting the clearance with McKenna, charged down, no handball given, and Leeds knock the ball into the centre again. It's a very poor final ball, and this opens up an opportunity for Preston to exploit down the right-hand side. Alexander with Whaley in front of him. Dichio and Nugent making their way into the area. Whaley, who's having an absolute wonderful time on this right-hand side, plays a difficult ball into the centre. There's no one there. In the end, it almost turned into a shot from this right midfielder. His cross into the centre found neither Nugent nor Dichio. A little bit close to the goal and too far away from finding the back of it. And in the end, it went out for a throw-in on the far side. And it's just so much opportunity, particularly down this right side, Neal. Every time Preston get the ball, you think, well, they're going to create a chance here.
Yeah, I mean, Simon Whaley tonight's been different class. I mean, he's got crosses in, he's got a few shots himself, and in this sort of form, you know, we're going to really need him for a push for promotion this season. But I certainly think he could deserve a goal as well, the way he's played.
Right, plays the ball forward. It's not a great one. And it's a throw-in for Preston. Game just winding down a little as we approach the final quarter of an hour. Preston 3, Leeds 0, and it's cruise control for Paul Simpson's side. Dichio opening the scoring. Pugh making it 2-0. 2-0 it was at half-time. Nugent providing both those goals, grabbing the third himself after Simon Whaley provided, following some good build-up play by Preston. Leeds made 2 substitutions since, but all for naught so far as Blake plays it out wide. He gets it back and he's got support on the centre. And there's Derry, was shot is charged down and picked up again by Whaley. This time plays the ball forward to Nugent, who can lay it off back to Whaley, who just loves space to run into. He's got Nugent inside him. He just took it a little bit close to Eddie Lewis at left back, and he couldn't find Graham Alexander once he tried to recover the ball. And Leeds have possession now, twisting and turning. Blake plays the ball out wide. Has support in Healy. Healy with a right-footed effort, balloons it high and wide, much to the pleasure of the home crowd. It was a little bit of relief in there because they know what he's capable of, but it wasn't really the best effort. So 16,168, not a bad attendance at all for a cold Tuesday night, Halloween, but it's been far from a horror show for Preston fans. Nash plays the ball forward. Dichio won't get there, but he gets it a second bite of the cherry. Lays it off, and now building down the right-hand side with Whaley racing forward. Already you can see the jitters in the Leeds defence. Was he obstructed? The referee thinks not, and obviously, as you can hear, Mellor thinks it was not given. Ball played forward. It did look like a straight obstruction to me, although perhaps Whaley could have carried on running afterwards. Ball played down this right side. Alexander into the feet of Nugent, time to turn, but Whaley outside him. Finds Whaley. Nugent behind him, looking for the ball into the centre, finds Alexander. Dichio's inside him, pulls it back, and they're just toying with him at times down this right-hand side. Whaley back to Alexander, Alexander into Nugent, Nugent back to Alexander. Preston forced back, but so comfortable on the ball at the moment. McKenna back to Shaun St Ledger, who will play it inside to his centre-back partner and give Liam Chilvers a feel of the ball. Back to Hill it goes. Hill skips round his man, although he was pulled back as he went round him, and Preston come down the left flank this time. Hill trying to cut in, and then he was bundled down on that far side, and Healy will get a stern talking to. He has gone into the book, if I recall correctly. He's got to be careful not to get carried away. Yes, he's playing against his former club, but it's just a stupid challenge on that far side. Substitution then for Preston North End. The man who is going off is Danny Pugh, and on comes Lewis Neal to give it a bit of width down that left hand side again. Neal, he always makes an impact on proceedings. It's like for like, really, Neal.
Yeah, I think Pugh did really well first half. He got himself a good goal and we worked really hard for the team, and you know, just a little bit tired at the end, but he did ever so well for the side, and hopefully Louis can come on.
Free kick swung into the centre. Dichio's there, but it's just past the far post. Headed down by Chilvers, and Dichio almost got his second of the game, and at the end it just bounced agonisingly just a foot or so wide of that far post, but could have been the fourth, Neal.
I mean, the delivery in the box has been brilliant, and again, Ken, a great ball and great header from Deeds. I thought someone got a little toe to it. I don't know if it's Chilvers or Nugent, and it's just so close to a fork, but we totally deserved the scoreline and could even be 4-5.
Ball launched forward over McKenna's head, and that just missighted Chilvers. It is cleared away, but only as far as Westlake, who plays it out wide. Leeds coming forward down this left flank. Blake has it, lays it off, finds Eddie Lewis, left-footed curling cross. Difficult one for Nash to deal with, but deal with it he does, coming out and claiming it confidently. And he's not really been pushed to the limit this evening, Carlo Nash, but when he has been asked a question, he's answered it 100% correctly. Down that left-hand side, Dichio just shows too much of the ball to Shaun, who quickly takes it off his toe, plays it into the centre and gets it back on the far side. We need to give possession away. Neal involved in his first touch of the game. Good ball forward. Nugent will be hard pushed to get on the end of this. It's back towards Graham Stack, who's under pressure from Nugent. His clearance meets a white shirt, and forward comes Simon Whaley down the right hand side. Dichio and Nugent inside him. Simon Whaley skips inside, his shot low, but straight into the yellow shirt of Paul Butler. And down this left hand side, Preston trying to get hold of the ball as Leeds take it from the left in towards the centre, and then switch flanks to the right hand side to bring the ball over the halfway line. Derry has it in the middle, plays it again back down this left flank for Lewis. Lewis with support in front of him, finds his man outside him on this left side in Cresswell. Cresswell getting a less than warm welcome from Preston fans all evening. He's back towards the far post, and there is a goal from former Preston favourite David Healy to make it Preston 3, Leeds 1. Leeds have had more possession in this second half. They don't really deserve to get that goal, but he was left with too much space in the centre. Carlo Nash asking questions, as well he might, of his defence of who was picking him up. Have Leeds got a lifeline, or is it too late? Preston 3, Leeds 1, and Neal, that wasn't what we wanted to see him.
Yeah, I mean, I think the game was over at 3-0, but just devastating for the defence, because as a defender you just wanted to keep a clean sheet, and obviously with Healy being an ex-player, I mean, they'd be absolutely sick about that, but just gutted for the lads really, for a clean sheet, because we've not had a clean sheet for a few weeks now, but just a bit frustrated.
Perhaps that will be motivation to go on and get a fourth here, I don't know, but we're just exposed there by a ball in towards the far side, which is what of course Preston have been doing so effectively in this game, and Healy, it was, of all people, arriving to stick the ball into the back of the goal. Preston fans will find that particularly painful. However, they lead by 3-1. Let's not have a nervous last 10 minutes. Ball forward, and Preston growing in, well, Leeds rather growing in confidence as Healy tries a long-range effort, which Nash has to palm round the far post, and well, concentration needed here, Neal. Don't want to let themselves down in the final throes of this game.
And I'm amazed that, you know, Leeds have still got a chance in this game, because we've absolutely dominated the game, but what a save that was from Nash. First time he properly needed to save it, and you know, it's important, because if they score that, you know, it's certainly a nervous 10 minutes, but we still should be strong enough to withstand the goal.
Corner swung in towards the centre. Nash collects at the far post, possibly the second time of asking, but just too much space being afforded Healy in the last 5 minutes, and he scored one and could have had a second. And well, surely Preston of all clubs know what he's capable of. Well, that will not be pleasing sight. Manager Paul Simpson, he may have one or two harsh words for some of his Preston side at the end of this game, particularly if it goes further awry. Looks like he's going to make a substitution on the far side. So the ball is headed back into Preston territory. It's St Ledger who's got a bit of tidying up to do. It's a poor ball, but Lewis Neal might get a toe end on it. He has, and has found space on the far side. He checks his run and comes back in towards the middle, finds Sedgwick, who finds McKenna, who plays a lovely ball down the right-hand side. Preston pushing forward to try and reopen that 3-goal lead. It's down the right side for Alexander, who's charged down, and the ball knocked behind for a corner. And Preston have a chance for a fourth here from the set piece, but lovely flowy move from Preston, spreading play from left to right again. They are in the process of making a substitution. Looks like it's probably going to be one just to reorganise and get a bit more concentration in the ranks at the back. Corner to be swung in by Alexander, and white shirts are lined in the centre. It's towards that far post, and Graham Stack collects reasonably comfortably in the end, although white shirts were lingering around him. Ball forward. Hill gets underneath it, heads it away, but Preston have it in Blake. Blake cutting in towards the edge of the box. It was a good tackle, as Neal Mellor pointed out, from Graham Alexander. Whaley, with two white shirts in the centre, finds the first in Paul McKenna, and he plays it across towards that far side. Nugent's out wide, Dichio's in the centre. Lewis Neal's shot takes a deflection, and into the back of the net it goes. It wasn't deliberate, but he won't care. It's 4-1, and Neal's deflected shot re-establishes that 3-goal lead. Preston 4, Leeds 1, and Neal, well, a little bit of luck, but it will certainly ease fears of a nervous last 10 minutes here at Deepdale.
Yeah, deserve that, and like you said earlier on in the game, really, if you don't shoot, you don't score. So, you know, he's had a pop, and we've had a bit of a lucky deflection, but we definitely deserve that. And you know, I'm pleased for Lewis, because you know he's been in and out of the team, and he's done really well in the reserve from what I've seen. And I'm pleased that he's got a goal there.
David Nugent, the man who makes way. I think it's Brett Ormerod, the man who's coming on to replace him. And David Nugent, for my money, man of the match this evening, setting up two, scoring the third. He's been rampant at times, his pace has been too much to handle. And now Brett Ormerod, who of course came on to such effect against Burnley, scoring one of the goals in that 3-2 defeat, comes on and sees if he can make an impact. Preston leading by 4-1 in there. Slight worries towards the end of this game after that David Healy goal have been allayed by that deflected Lewis Neal effort, which took it past Graham Stack. Ball played forward, Dichio turns and he's in acres of space now. He's got support down the left from Neal. He's running back into the centre, looking for the ball. Back to Sedgwick. Plays it down the left. Ormerod and Neal outside him. Neal back. And Sedgwick finds Hill. There's Ormerod laying it off. Sedgwick is behind him, running forward is Neal. Offside given on that far side, I can only presume, as the overlap didn't quite work out. And it's going to be a free kick. But 4-1 reflecting, I think, more truthfully the difference between these two sides, Neal. I think 3-1 would have been unfortunate and would have given us a difficult last 10 minutes or so in this game, when Preston certainly did not deserve it.
We've totally dominated the game, created all the better chances, and you know, even at 3-1 when Nash made that save, I mean, that could have been a nervous 10 minutes if that would have gone in, but you know, we've gone down the other end and got the goal and killed the game off again, which we deserve.
Whaley coming forward, great run this, and he's found a man outside him as well. Dichio's in the centre if they can find him. Pull back behind Dichio, falls for Alexander, who meets it uncomfortably, and it spoons high and spins wide of the goal. And running in, the Preston skipper just couldn't quite make the contact he wanted. It sat reasonably well for him then. He should have done better, but I think perhaps if he'd fallen for the likes of Nugent, we would have seen a fifth there.
Yeah, I mean, it was great play from Ormerod, absolutely done the defender retreat and chipped the ball in, and just an awkward height for Alexander, but I mean, it's another good chance that we've created. I mean, that must be at least 15, 16 chances we've created, and we've put 4 away, which is good.
It's certainly good for the goal difference. And the hunt to try and close down the gap on Cardiff as well. 3 points will go down a treat, although we heard at half-time that Cardiff were leading in their game this evening. 3 minutes or so left to play. Hill with a bit of defending to do on the far side. It falls at Healy, who fires a shot just over the bar, and again Nash is going to come out of his goal and saying, why did you commit yourself to that challenge there, when really you should have just held him up, given him no option. And in the end, Healy managing to get a shot on goal, which will not please the Preston shot stopper, nor manager Paul Simpson. Lead by 4-1. St Ledger, sorry, a deflected effort in the end being the fourth, as the ball comes down the right-hand side. It's Lewis Neal who had the effort to make it 4-1. He'll be accredited with it, I suppose, although it took a nasty deflection to deceive the pumpkin in Leeds goal. Graham Stack had to get that one more time in. It is Halloween. Here's wearing orange. It's the only gag I've done all night. So, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I don't want to milk it. Free kick, which Stack will take. Still a great atmosphere amongst these 16,000 fans that have made it to Deepdale this evening. As the Leeds fans trudge out of the ground. Alexander with the throw. Sedgwick chips it forward. It's behind Ormerod. Alexander tries to poke it forward towards Whaley, but spins out of touch. Taken by Eddie Lewis. Throws it back. And Kilgallon into the feet of Shaun Derry. Derry gets it back to Stack. Right-footed, long ball forward. Header in the centre from Chilvers. Leeds build again. But a foot in from Hill knocks it back into Leeds territory. Under a minute of normal time left to play. Preston lead by 4-1. A slight hiccup in the final 10 minutes of this game when Healy grabbed one, but soon put that right with Lewis Neal's deflected effort to make it 4-1. Eddie Lewis loses the ball, and that is a throw into Preston. Still not done with attacking here. I'll try and work it forward. St. Ledger into Sedgwick, who finds Alexander. Alexander plays it forward. Ormerod lays it off. Whaley's there. Back to Alexander. Good run from Sedgwick into the centre. From McKenna rather into the centre. It's Sedgwick now on the ball. St. Ledger battling for it. Leeds do come away. Ball's played through the centre. Much too powerfully from Chilvers. I think in the end it was more of a clearance and straight through to Graham Stack.
The officials have agreed there'll be a minimum
Long
of
ball
3
forward.
minutes of added time.
As you probably heard, 3 minutes of time added on for stoppages.
Tonight's George Banks Jewellers man of the match,
Ball
as chosen by our sponsors,
on the left-hand side.
solicitors, is number 10, David Nugent.
David Nugent getting the man of the match award, as we predicted. Certainly been a cut above at times this evening, showing his pace, his skill on the ball. And he set up 2, scored a 3rd. Can't really ask for much more than that, Neil.
I mean, as a striker, you score a goal and win. You can't ask for much more, and he's created 2 goals for us. It's just been a superb performance. Him and Simon Whaley have been absolutely outstanding. To be honest, the whole team have worked really hard together and thoroughly deserved the result.
Another superb home performance. Still unbeaten at home, of course. Long may it continue, and it's a convincing scoreline as well. We're on the far side against what you would have thought at the start of the season was one of the better sides in the Championship, but it's not worked out that way so far for this Yorkshire club, who Preston have got some bitter memories of in recent history. Tonight perhaps has gone some way to putting them behind them. Ball knocked out of play on that far side. Leeds have a throw in 15 yards into Preston territory down the right flank, headed into touch, and it will go out of play. The game just petering out now with about a minute and a half left to play of time added on for stoppages. 4th goal really killing proceedings off, but preventing a nervous last few minutes here following Leeds' solitary goal from David Healy of all people. Throw in towards the edge of the area. It's Healy who's in there, but it's back out towards the touchline. It's a ball pulled back, which Butler pokes forward, and there's Dichio now spreading the play wide, and again it's that outlet of Simon Whaley, just takes it too far forward and overcomes Eddie Lewis to take the ball off him. That's a foul from McKenna, who kicks the ball away. He's got to be careful not to get himself into the book for no reason now, wasting time, but the referee allows it and brings the ball back for Leeds free kick to be taken by Lewis, left-footed, swinging into the area. Don't want to concede here, they don't deserve it. Left-footed, curling ball into the centre, across the face, and Nash having to do a little bit of work running towards his other post, and it's out of play for a corner, which Leeds will rush, but will have little impact on this game, I feel. Just got to make sure they don't give a sloppy goal away here, Preston, and put a complexion on this game that doesn't deserve to be there. It's a deep cross towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed back into the centre and off the crossbar, and Preston just need to clear ranks here, make sure they don't give a second away, which they really don't deserve. Now they're on the break with Ormerod, and there's the final whistle from the referee. In the end, it was a very accomplished performance by Preston North End, very comfortable indeed. They took the lead through a Daniel Dichio goal. It was Nugent who played him in with a great run down the left-hand side. Nugent it was down the right for the second, who played it into the centre and found Pugh. Deservedly so, Nugent got on the score sheet with the third after a Simon Whaley down the right emulated his former Bury teammate with a run down the flank and a ball into the centre. There was Nugent to tuck it home. A slight scare with a David Healy consolation goal with 10 minutes left to go for Preston, but they came through it with honours in the end with a deflected Lewis Neal goal that put the right complexion back onto this game. They were good for at least the 3-goal cushion. They could have had more. It's finished Preston 4, Leeds 1. And final thoughts from Neal Mellor, who's been sat alongside me this evening.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it today, back to winning ways at home, and just letting the Championship know, we're up there near the top of the league, and that's where we want to stay with a brilliant performance tonight. Certainly the best performance I've seen of the night. Could have had 6 or 7, and it was a shame that we conceded a goal because they didn't deserve a goal tonight, and thoroughly dominated the game. And I'm pleased for Nugent. He missed out last week, but he's absolutely awesome tonight. He got a goal and set 2 up, and I'm really pleased for lads going into the game on Saturday now.
A very accomplished display indeed from not just David Nugent, man of the match this evening, but from the entire side. They look comfortable, they look balanced, they look full of attacking prowess and full of goals as well, and the scoreline reflected that at the end of the game. Preston win by 4 goals to 1. Although Cardiff have won, they remain right up there at the top of the table, and hopefully if they carry on winning games like this, they'll be clawing back ground on Cardiff before too long. So a great performance here, and it remains to be seen how results elsewhere have gone the way of Preston, but a superb performance. Many thanks to Neal Mellor alongside me for joining me in the commentary box this evening. It's finished Preston 4, Leeds 1.